Welcome to Scale Model Basics. I'm Aaron Skinner, and I'm going to be assembling individual link working plastic tracks from a tank kit. Now, this can be a very tedious and kind of boring process, but you can't take it too complacently because you have to be very judicious with glue placement. So you kind of have to pay attention. It's not something you can do completely mindlessly. I like to start a kit like this that has these tracks. I start by building those so I can take a break every now and then and work on something else and then come back to the tracks and break that whole long process up a little bit. To do that, I'm going to be working with this 1/35th scale M48A5 from Tacom. It has 3 sprues with the rubber blocks on them, 3 sprues with the track pins and guide horns, and helpfully on the rubber block sprue we have a jig. So let's start by building the jig. So the jig is done. Now to move on to assembling the tracks. Next, clean up these parts. Make sure that there are no of the attachment points left. Now it's time for the guide horns. I'm going to clip off a run of those that matches the run of pins. Before you get too far in, make sure you've removed all of the nubs because that may interfere with fit. These came off pretty cleanly, so they don't need a lot of cleanup. You can go ahead and place them into their spots. With the way these parts are on the sprues, they should line up pretty cleanly. You may need to do just a little bit of adjustment to get them in. And then you can apply glue to each of the attachment points. This is fiddlier than it looks. See what I mean about tedious? So while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start clipping off track blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and clip off 12 because that's what I need for 6 links. And each one of those will probably need just a little bit of cleanup. With the track links clipped and cleaned up, it's time to put them into the jig. So now that this glue's all set, I can go ahead and trim the sprue from the guide horns. Now the moment of truth, I can go ahead and put these guide pins into the blocks. Got to make sure I get it in the right place so that it's lining up just right. There we go. And you can just get that in there. So with the guide horns in place on the jig, it's time to clip the inside halves of the blocks and glue them into place. Time to clean them up. Which leads us to the trickiest part of all, gluing the track blocks together and trapping the pins but leaving them movable. This means you have to be very careful about where you're placing glue. So I'm using slow setting cement and putting it just into the holes inside the blocks. So you want to be sure you get it aligned just right, and then once it's in place, just push it down. I went to the other end, after putting the first set of blocks in, I went to the other end of the run and put that set of blocks in. That keeps all the pins flat down and makes it easier to put the rest of them in as you go.
Why not use super glue?
I like this slower setting cement because it gives you more time to get the track blocks in place. Super glue can be a bit too aggressive at drying. And if you get it into the track runs, you can't free it. With this, you can put a little bit of glue in place and smooth it out. So that's a run done. Now I have to do it 2 more times on this jig. So I've gone as far as I can go with the jig. I've got 3 runs down. It's about 20 links in total, which represents about 90 minutes worth of work. So as you can see, it's kind of tedious and time consuming, but at the same time, it's not difficult. It's not hard. It's just, you want to get into a routine. It gets a little easier once you get into a routine. You're going to kind of get a little zen with it. If you want to put on some music while you're doing it, maybe you're going to watch a little movie, just pay attention to what you're doing when you need to pay attention to it. And now for the true test, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up off the jig and remove the sprues that are still attached to the end connectors. It's already looking pretty good. Got some flexibility going on. I like to see. Look at that. That does exactly what I want it to do. It's movable on all the joins and it's staying together. So now it would be easy to wrap around the running gear when it comes time for final assembly. And that is how I build individual link working plastic tracks on a tank model. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.